All right, so when it comes around to collections, usually you're told, don't touch it, leave that alone. It's not to be played with. But the one that we're about to show you, well, game on.
Sean Stryker is having some fun with today's show and tell, and he found a guy who has an impressive collection of arcade games, and he didn't have to go far to find him. He actually works right here at WBOC.
Yes, he is. So, Sean Stryker, what are you playing?
I'm trying to play Centipede. I'm not very good at it. I've never really played a lot of video games growing up, but there's all types of games here at the Mattcade. Miss Pac-Man, Frogger, Donkey Kong, Popeye, and of course we have the owner of the Mattcade, Matt Zolkowski. Matt, thanks for joining us today. This is awesome in here. This is just one of two rooms. There's a whole nother room with fighting games. I need to know, how does somebody start collecting arcade games? Obviously you played video games growing up, but how do you transition to this?
Well, it was the moment that I realized that you can actually own your own arcade game that I realized I had to have some. I thought this was something you could only go and play in an arcade, but these things, you can find them anywhere. And so I started to find 1 and then 2 and 3 and 6 and 10.
And 6 and 10. And over the years, you said you've owned 30 or so.
Yeah, over 30, yeah.
You trade them, and that's what's really cool. It's a cool community to be a part of.
Yeah, there's a huge community for keeping these old games alive, and it's a very helpful community when it comes to repairing them because they need constant repair.
Yeah, obviously you have to fix them when they break. So what is it about the old vintage games that you like? Obviously in the other room you have the fighter games. They're a little newer. Yeah. These ones are old. Some of them 1980.
Right.
That's when Centipede was started.
Right. These games are they're classics for a reason. They have so much replay value. I could come in here and play one of these today and be a little bit better than I was yesterday, and it was just like I beat the game. But when you talk about newer games today that have a beginning and an end, these don't have that. They have no end. They can stretch out for as long as you can enjoy them.
And I want to show you guys. Come over here. Look at the detail and some of the artwork on these games. We have Popeye. Great artwork, and of course Matt puts a lot of work into collecting other items that go along with the games, which he's lined up along top of them. For Donkey Kong, of course, he has the Donkey Kong. Popeye, he has the spinach, and then one of my favorite things is the high scoreboard, which of course you see a lot of Z's up there for Zolkowski. There are some other names up there, so you have some friends that come over that surprisingly, they do beat you.
It has happened. I try not to let it happen too much, but if my name was the only one on there, I think people might get a little suspicious.
So where do you find these games? It's not something you can head over to GameStop and buy a whole console. Where do you find them?
For example, this one came from over the bridge near Annapolis from a private collector who just happened to sell it to me out of his collection. My Miss Pac-Man over there came from a pizza shop in Chrisfield, Maryland that went out of business, and they sold me their games. The Donkey Kong I traded from a person I met on Facebook.
So which one is your favorite out of all of them?
Popeye, for sure. Popeye is an early Nintendo game that not a lot of people play, because when you think of Nintendo arcade games, you think of Donkey Kong. But Popeye is a lot of fun. It has the same layout as Donkey Kong, and it's extremely difficult to play.
I gotta know, you have friends come over, they play. Do they have to bring their own quarters?
No, everything is for free here at the Mattcade.
So you just pop it open, and
right.
So you don't actually have to bring your quarters, which is lucky, because I would have went broke playing Centipede because I died super quick. And these games are antique, but they're antiques that you can still play with. Because what's the point of owning antique arcade games if you can't play them?
It's important that they're all working and on as much as possible.
And it's really impressive that some of them are still working. Like I said, Centipede over here, that 1980, Burger Time 1982, Pac-Man 1980 to 1981. These games are very old, and Mario Brothers, a lot of people don't know, it actually started right here.
That's right. The first instance of Mario was in Donkey Kong. He was called Jumpman then, but he was in the game Donkey Kong, and that game was so popular that he got his own game here in '83 with Mario Brothers. It's also the first Luigi.
I want to play this. Before we do, I got to ask you about the other room, though, because there's a whole another room in the house filled with video games. What's over there?
We've got some fighting games over there, and I have some more recognizable console-type games we should go check out.
The Nintendos and the PlayStation. All right, so we're going to play some games. I'm going to see how I can I'm not gonna do much. I'm just gonna try not to embarrass myself. Come back, check us out, see how we do. I got a couple extra questions for you, and I'll send it back to you guys.
Definitely.
Did you spend a lot of time in the arcade?
I spent a little
credits in
time in the
here.
arcade, but it wasn't quality time. I didn't do that well.
I know. I didn't play the games as much as I would like stand beside the cute boy who was playing the games.
Good.